viewers. While working remotely due to this great lockdown, I decided to utilize this time by creating a new video this time for tools for data representation. So, first, and the basic question being, why do we need tools for data representation? That's because once we have gathered all the data and analyzed it, we need to present it to our other team members and other stakeholders in order to make quick and accurate decisions. These tools help visualize many things like the root cause of defects, the categories of defects, details of processes, etc. Hence, these help handle the quality issues more effectively and in an informed manner. There are four basic tools for data representation. First being histograms, cause and effect diagrams, control charts, and scatter diagrams. First of all, we will look into detail into the histograms. So, histogram is this kind of plotting of our data we have. Here I have plotted data for defects in a project and categorized them into critical, high, medium, and low. And we can see the number of defects at this axis. So, what is histogram and what purpose does it solve for us? Histograms give us a fair idea of how our data breaks down. Okay. For example, suppose we come to know that our project has around some 158 defects in it. So what reaction we shall have at the first will be, we'll be thinking from the point of view that all 158 issues are of critical and severe nature. Whereas that's not always the case. As we are seeing here, when we plotted all these defects and categorized them into different uh, heads, we found out that there are very few critical issues, maybe 28 or 30 are critical issues, and most of them are of low nature, some are high, and rest of them are of medium priority. So, this way we get a clearer picture of how and where our project stands from point of view of defects and their priorities. This way, histogram helps us to categorize our data under different heads and hence help us make more informed decisions. Here, this project is still not ready to ship, definitely, but at least we know the current status exactly of our product. So, it will help us in future decision making, like how much stipulated timeline is required for next delivery. This is all about histograms. Now we move on to our next tool for data representation, which is cause and effect diagram. This is also known as fishbone or Ishikawa diagram. This explains the cause of an issue or defects, and we categorize all probable root causes under different heads. For example, suppose here I have a defect called defect 1 in my product. I have found out a few root causes for that defect. All these root causes are now under different categories. They are listed under different categories. So these vertical lines here represent the category of each root cause, and the horizontal lines define or list out all the root causes under that category. So for my defect 1, I have categories of machine, worker, and material. And root causes under machine could be that the machine doesn't cut properly, it cuts incorrectly. The worker might be making some mistake in operating the machine, and the raw materials we get might not be of that good quality, it might be of bad quality, that's why leading to our defect 1. In this way, we give a visual representation of all the root causes under all the basic headings or categories. This basically helps us get a clearer picture of the nature of causes which are creating each defect. This is all about cause and effect diagram. And now moving on to our next tool for data representation, it being the control charts. What are control charts? Control charts are a way of visualizing how processes are doing over time. Like in our example, we have taken a time range from 11:20 a.m. to 12:20 p.m. and just monitoring our process within this time period. We are able to track what processes are functioning in what manner during this time slot. For a clearer understanding, suppose our process, that is in this example, my process is to create an apparatus with the statistics between 7.5 and 9.5 millimeter. So here the 7.5, the value of 7.5 is known as the lower control limit. The value of 9.5 will be known as the upper control limit, and the solid line at the point of 8.5 will be the mean, that is average of all the apparatus created through my process. Now comes this point. This is the point where we see a lot of difference between the data, as in a lot of data points fall outside of the upper control limit. So this data point and this entire process around this time, from the time slot of 11:40 a.m. to 12 p.m. is known as the control is out of control. The process is out of control, and these points are also out of control. So these points being out of control leads to the process being out of control. It's okay to have certain fluctuations, like in the complete process we have so many fluctuations in data. It's okay to have that, but having 7 continuous data points out of our upper or lower control limit is not acceptable. That indicates some problem in the process during that time, or during that time frame, during that process. So we are sure that there is some problem somewhere during this time period of 11:40 a.m. to 12 p.m., since there are 7 points going out of control limit of upper control. And these 7 points are known as the rule of 7. The rule of 7 decides that the process is out of our control. This brings to an end of control charts. Now we come to last but not the least kind of tool, which is called the scatter diagram. Scatter diagrams are basically used to depict relationship between two different sets of data. In my example, I have taken a relationship between the number of defects versus the number of past test cases. So if we are creating more and more test cases and newer test cases and trying to execute them on our project, and uh, that leads to slowing down of the number of defects or lowering the number of defects. That means our purpose is being solved. So here if we see this plot, we find that at one point of time we had issues around 40, and when we added more test cases and they started passing, so we have reduced the number of defects to even below 10. So this way we can find a relationship between number of defects and number of past cases, past tests. This is just for an example though. This could help in improving quality of our product. So these are the four type of data tools available, and here we conclude that the this presentation with the knowledge that tools of data representation are an important part of decision making for any manager, and also to give clearer picture of current project status to all the parties involved. I hope this helps you in some way. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.